Okay. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Vince with Listings to Leads, and this is our weekly call on Facebook advertising. I am recording this right now, and I am going to put it in our mastermind group, and we're going to talk about that mastermind group kind of first before we even get started. Couple of months, team uses this, great. Newbie referral, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Barb has gone from a newbie from a guru in like, I don't know, 3 weeks. But that's great. She definitely has taken the dive into our system. You may not know this about our platform, especially if you're new. There are more than 50 tools in here. And what makes Listings to Leads unique is that all of our tools are configured to capture leads in every instance. If you send an email, there's lead gen. If you have a virtual tour, there's lead gen. If you want a listing, single property website, everything we do is really configured to capture leads. So this call is about Facebook. Milton, can you not see my page? And would everybody else kind of speak up on that? Everybody should see my website right now. I'm going to switch over to Facebook so you can make sure that you can see something current. Okay, got it. All right. Thanks, everybody. So before we get into the system, as I said, there are a lot of tools. For many folks, it's really it's an overwhelming process, right? You're new to us. It's like, where do I begin? And I'll give you an idea of where to begin. But what I want you to know before we even log into the system is, where do you go for help and ideas? And before you log in up at the top right here. Right down here before you log in is our blog. And this is where we actually collate or collect some of the best feedback from our clients, and we share it. And I'm going to click on the first one right here. And what our clients are doing in our mastermind group, and I'm going to point you there in a moment, is they're sharing exactly what they're writing and what they're doing. And so we have a lot of tools. We have a lot of landing pages. We have single property websites. We have all these great tools that are awesome for advertising, and really just powerful when you combine it with Facebook advertising. But the question is, if you haven't run an ad on Facebook before, how do you run the ad? And then, and that's pretty easy. We're going to do that a couple times here today. But how do you run the ad so that your money actually gets a lot of leads instead of 1 or 2 or 3, right? Would you rather have 20? Would you rather have 30 leads over the weekend, or would you rather have 3? The difference in that is almost always the photograph and the language. And you can see that there's a box here, and this is really giving the example of language. Here's another. We have some tools that are designed to follow on, kind of to drip on leads and stuff like that. But that's one example right there of what they've written. And you'll see this in our mastermind group. I'm going to go back to the blog and click here to see view all blog posts, because there's one that works flawlessly as well. And I just want you to know it's here. There's an article here that says 31 seller leads in 2 days, 21 seller leads in 12 hours. And right here, it shows you exactly what they wrote. And I'm going to read it. It says 360 homes sold in Frisco in June. Highest sold was 900 plus. Now see your home worth free. That kind of language is really all you need to know. I mean, this works every time for people across the country. We've got the right tools. We're going to log in a minute and look at that. But how you write it is really a big deal on true success. And I'll give you some numbers, because I just spoke with somebody who is brand new to us, and he was asking, what do I think in terms of budget? And I am going to get into it, but just so you know, I really believe that a monthly budget for one realtor between $300 and $500 a month is going to get you somewhere from 100 to 200 leads. Usually half of those are listing leads. And these leads are, when you buy online internet leads, and there's great companies like Zillow and Trulia and other people selling you leads, and they're like 10 or 20 leads a month for $1,000 a month or whatever. Many people call me every day saying, I can't convert these leads. I mean, they're just, I'm paying, but I'm not getting any value of it. And that's not what we're really hearing here in our world. Our clients, many times, I'm going to point something out to you, just posted, I think, yesterday, where they're actually getting, people in the office. And that's really an interesting aspect, that our clients feel like these are better leads. So that information is right out front. I'm going to click log in and get into my little demo account. And then let's get into the home page when you log in. So when you log in, there's always this pop-up page. There's a webinar here by Neil Wolf. I highly recommend you watch this webinar. There's a very cool tool inside the system. People don't use it on Facebook. He doesn't use it on Facebook. He uses it on Craigslist, and he's getting like 50 leads every week on Craigslist, which is free. So if you want to see how he does it, that webinar is good. And then down below, obviously, you can register for more classes like this. On this homepage, though, are some important pieces. The listing presentation. If you're new to us, click on this page, watch the videos on the page, and download the listing presentation on this page, because it's really impossible to compete against our listing presentation, because we do so many things for you automatically. It just makes you look like a marketing powerhouse. But this page here, Facebook advertising, is really related to what we're talking about today. And I want to point out what's here. This item here, number 2, this is how you run an ad in under 2 minutes. And I'm going to run a couple ads here today for us. And you're going to see that it's very easy to run an ad. But I do want to repeat myself. It's very easy to run an ad, but how you write that ad is really what makes this a successful investment or not. Down here is a really good video on Facebook advertising and some of the key tools that you want to use. Okay, so that's right there. When you log in, it says Facebook advertising. Over here, online tutorials. Up here is contact support. I'm going to go here real quick. We've got 3 support people. And if you have a question, put your question in this box. And all 3 people watch this, and my partner Scott watches this. So if you get the wrong answer, he'll whip around and get you the right answer. So that's kind of there. Let's go back to the home page and still talk about resources before we even do anything. There's a big button here. It says click to join the Mastermind group. I would really highly suggest that you click to join the Mastermind group. This is one of, I'm part of a lot of technology groups on Facebook and have been for years. And I got to say, ours is the most incredible group. It is so useful because our clients are taking our tools, using them in the way that we describe, and then saying, this is what I did. So right here on the top, here's something a couple weeks ago from Natalie Norris, I guess it was March, 9 seller leads in 15 hours, right? Now that's pretty awesome, right? I mean, we would all love to say that. And she just basically wrote this stuff down. She's got, she's got 3 partial leads and went to full. Then I went to bed. Now I have 4, have a phone number, email. Anyway, click on the comments here. And you're going to see that Natalie actually, so somebody's putting here, this is what they did on Nextdoor, which is a new kind of social media thing. But somewhere, if I click in here, there is the actual ads, okay? And I want to point that out, and I can't remember where it is, but it's actually view more replies. Yeah, this is the ad she wrote, all right? And this is an important kind of thing when you're writing an ad, to think about what motivates a homeowner. Well, one thing is that, when you're thinking of selling a home, oh my God, what a horrible thing to think of, right? It's just going to be painful. That's what I think. And so here it is, just sold in 10 days. Your home value has changed. Get your home value now, free now, right? And that's a really powerful thing. And this is the ad that she wrote to get all of those leads. And here our client is just sharing this idea with you so that you can leverage it, right? We've got the tools. That's the right kind of language. This is one example of great language. Another thing that also works on there, and I've seen our clients do is this home sold, 5-10% above asking, right? That's an important motivating factor, right? Because if I'm selling, I want the most money, and if you can tell me that you've sold homes for higher, I'm going to pay attention. I'm probably going to click that. Another one that I saw, which was awesome, is up here in the text area. He had written, this home sold for 10, I think it was 10% above the Zillow estimate, and had this big kind of yellow thing here that said Zestimate. And that was great because it just got, and I think that's actually something I would think about today, currently, right now, because I don't know if you've been watching the news, but Zillow is now coming out with a product that says, we're going to get you an instant buyer if you want to sell your home. It's some new thing. I don't even know what it is, which basically means they're going to price it and get you and cut the realtors right out. That's kind of, my short take of what it is. However, if you're just, running ads and say, I can outperform Zillow estimates, people are going to start paying attention to that. The beauty of Facebook is that whatever we're doing in advertisements, it's on Facebook. And I want to give you some stats about Facebook in case you don't know this. If you're new to Facebook or Facebook advertising, and I speak to people, I just speak to so many people, and I still hear, oh, I just hate Facebook, right? I just don't want to be on Facebook, and I don't like to share pictures of my cats or dogs or whatever. And that's cool. I totally understand, but you all should know this about Facebook. 71% of adults in the United States are on Facebook. All right? Not teenagers, but adults. The average time spent on Facebook by these adults is 50 minutes every day. 50. So I hope you start to think about, if the people are there that long, how do I stay in front of them? And we're going to talk about how to stay in front of them. And the last thing, which is super, super important and mind-blowing, because I just heard this 2 weeks ago, is 30% of all mobile time on the internet is on Facebook. All right? So everybody's got a smartphone. More than half the people in this country have a smartphone in the United States. I'm sure it's a much higher number than 50%. And they're on the internet all the time, right? They're sitting there and they're in their meeting. You're probably in a meeting. I'm sure some percentage of you are looking at your smartphone at the internet right now while I'm talking. But there are people driving their car doing that. There are people at Starbucks doing that and all that. And 30% of all that mobile time on the internet is on Facebook. So that's why we feel like you've got to have a real solid strategy. And so let's get into the strategy of how Listings to Leads does it. The first thing, and many of you, if you hear about us, you hear about our landing page section, okay? And our landing page section, it's super cool. We got a lot of great landing pages, right? We got landing pages. Property Valuation Plus is the one I recommend if you want listing leads. Nearby homes sold, also great for people that own homes. Growing family, empty nesters. Here's another one, Property Valuation 2. And Barb, I don't think you've used this, but I'll tell you, this landing page, it's really old school. It's not techie, it's not sexy, but for a lot of people, they get better leads out of this, right? Then you've got the empty nesters here. These people are thinking of selling their home. And if you got a custom free report for buyers or sellers, you can create your own kind of page there and write your own language and get people to download, and we give them your document that you want to give them. And then we got landing pages for FSBOs and expireds and condos and all kinds of great things. And that's what a lot of realtors are hearing about today, and that's what they're coming to Listings to Leads for today, right? But what they miss, unless they get on this call, is that our best clients who really kill it, who really start doing incredible business, are the clients that also focus on building a brand on Facebook. And you build a brand by going to the listings page, even if you're borrowing listings. I spoke to an agent this morning, said, I've got this area that I want to build my business in, but I don't have any business. Can I market other people's listings there? And that is exactly the thing you want to do. If you're a new agent And let's say I'm back in my hometown here, yeah, in Lafayette, California. And let's say I'm new to this area, or let's say I live adjacent and I'm a realtor and I want to build my business in Lafayette. I can borrow listings as long as the MLS feels that's fine. Put them in the listings to leads account and then start using our tools to brand out there. All right. So let's look at that. What are the two tools that most people want to brand with? The single property website. It's the red button with the white house. I'm going to click it. I'm going to open it for you. And this one's nice. It's got a video here of the home. It says just listed. You can change the status to just listed, open house, under contract, and just sold. And these are great things to be telling the market. You know, in Lafayette, this is a small town, 25,000 people. I want them to know that I'm a realtor. So anytime I got something, there's something just listed or just sold, I want to say, hey, everybody in Lafayette in that town, I want them to see this. And that's what you can do with Facebook. Lots of lead gen here. This follow this home pops up. You get a lead, we email it to you. You can put links in here that are relevant, pointing to your website. And so this is a great tool to brand with. Another tool to brand with, and we designed this specifically for Facebook, is the listing landing page. It's to the right of Facebook. And it's the tool for the same house, but it's just a totally different look. And it's a more, aesthetic, beautiful look. And we do that because when you're marketing and you're building a brand, you want people to think you have really good looking tools, not crappy old style tools, right? So here, when they fill this out, you get a lead, they get dropped on the single property website. So these two tools, the listing landing page and the single property website, are really great tools to build your brand, right? So I see some questions here, and I recommend you put your questions in all the time. We'll use it next week. I'll report. Still use traffic. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that is, yes, that is traffic. Yes. You're talking about that one thing there. Definitely use traffic. Yeah. So, and we'll get into what traffic means in a minute. So what I want to point out about building a brand, as opposed to grabbing a property valuation page and throwing it out on Facebook, a lot of you will, that's what you came to us for. You heard about our property valuation pages, you hear they're great, you get on a class like this, you figure it out and you slap it out there, right? And that's great. And you get some leads, maybe you don't get leads, who knows? But the clients this is why we want you to brand. Let's just say, what is it? Is it May now? Yeah, it's May. If you started running ads every weekend for property valuation, you might get 10 or 20 leads, right? You might get 3 if you do it totally wrong. You might get 10 or 20 leads every weekend. But if you start branding at the same time during the week, putting an ad for like $20 and saying, hey, here's an open house. Here is here's something just sold. You're targeting the same area, and your lead gen is going to increase, and the quality of that lead is going to increase because you're actually building trust. The brand is building trust, right? That's the whole point of branding. And so you're not just getting like online leads, you're actually getting communication much faster because people realize, hey, you're a player in my space, in my neighborhood, and I got to do something. I got to buy or I got to sell. Our clients who adopt this strategy of building the brand as well as getting seller leads, the bigger ones that do a lot, and they don't just do one ad, they'll do like multiple ads every week, have all said that they are getting random cold calls from people in their target market saying, I am seeing you all over the internet and all over Facebook, and I need help. I need to buy or I need to sell. This is what advertising is really meant to be. This is what branding is all about. Listings to leads, we focus on capturing leads, and that's, we're good at it. And our clients love leads. That's why they come to us. But boy, when the phone starts ringing because you've actually invested enough money and they can see you, well, that's a whole different ball of wax, right? That's a whole different ball game. And that's where you want to be. So you got to build the brand. So let's do that. Let's build a brand. Get your listing in here and get Let's see if I got something here in Lafayette because I'm home, right? So I want to brand my Lafayette home that I have for sale, right? And it's going to say for sale. There, folks. Oh, I got some goofy hipster there talking about bloatware because I was showing somebody how to put a video in there. But I can see, notice I want to point out the side links on the left. You really got to take some time and add links on all of your ads and on all your listings, because on average 20% of people click through there. But I have offices that have 50% of people looking at our tool and then clicking a link. 50%, 1 out of 2. I've been in online advertising for a long time. And to have 1 out of 2 people click in any industry on the internet to get to your website, I've never heard of that before. Until I set up Prudential in California and they were just like cranking. And what they did, what I have here, I don't know if you can see it, but schedule of showing is always there. Lafayette homes, that's obvious because this home is for sale in Lafayette. If you don't want this home, well, get it here or go look at the rest. Also, Release Valley is an awesome, beautiful part of Lafayette. So a lot of people want to look there. So you want to do something where like the hot areas are. But the thing that got Prudential, and this is pre Berkshire Hathaway, what got 50% click through was that they made links that said they just said, what are the hot price points in Lafayette? Well, anything under 800 grand is gone in 2 weeks. So Lafayette homes under 800K, Lafayette homes from 800 to $1 million, and then Lafayette homes from 1 to 2. They put these price points because when people are looking at homes, they're really driven by price, right? We don't just have endless amounts of money to buy the perfect house. No, we've got some sort of budget, and that's what gets people to click. So I want you to think of that. It's a little bit of a side note, but that's what it is. So we're going to tell everybody that this home is for sale in Lafayette. So how do we do that? This link up here, copy that and go to your Facebook page. All right. And, I got to tell you, there's a couple more things, but let's finish this. Let's do this real quick. Up here, there's a navigation bar and there's a triangle that points down, and open that up and say create ads. And when you do create ads, we'll have to wait a second for this to bake. Here's where you left off. Okay. Let's see. Objectives. Yeah, okay, I know that. Sorry, Facebook's always putting stuff there. So here is where we want to focus, this consideration. Excuse me, I can feel a sneeze coming. Okay. So Barb asked a question, do we use traffic or do we use lead gen? And when we are doing, and I want to explain the difference of traffic and lead generation. Traffic means you are driving to get traffic to a particular page, right? Now, I might want to drive traffic to this page, right? And so I would use the option of traffic. But when we're branding, we actually don't recommend that you use traffic. We actually recommend that you use lead generation. And I'm going to click on lead generation, and it just sort of opens this thing up. Now, I'm really remiss here. I really should have done a little homework before we got on this call. When you are looking for buyers, the tab lead generation is awesome. That little function is awesome. But there is an extra step. You have to set up your form. And in that form, that's the lead capture form. And you might say, I want their name, and I want their email, and I want their phone number. And that's what you want in the form. So when you run an ad that says lead gen, and I'm just going to click this, and I'm going to give it a campaign name. Whenever you run an ad, give it a campaign name. I would say JL for just listed, Laffy for Lafayette, and I'm going to say May. I'm sure there's a date. One thing at this point, what I want you to understand is if you really want this to change your business, meaning increase it, 10 or 20% or more, year over year, you need to do this more than once or twice a year. You need to do this at least twice a week, in my opinion. And if you do it more than that, definitely going to feel it. If you can do this like what I'm doing every week for 2 months, you're in 2 months your business is you're going to be feeling the business come in from this. So anyway, let's set the campaign name as Just Listed Lafayette in May. And I may get stuck here because I don't have my form built. But you want to choose your page. I've got a few pages. I want my real estate page. And then you want to create your audience. And this is really the power of Facebook advertising. It's incredible. I'm going to say I don't want anybody under 27 to look at it. But I'm up here where it says United States. I'm going to type in the word Lafayette, California. And notice that when I type in Lafayette, I don't know if you can see this, there's a map, right? And you got to use your judgment. Do you want everybody 25 miles out to see that, right? I've got a home for sale. You might. You know what? I actually lived in San Francisco for years and ended up buying in Lafayette because it was a really pretty area, right? But maybe you feel like, I'm not going to go to San Francisco, so I'm going to change that radius to 10 miles. Because 10 miles from here is Danville, Walnut Creek, Concord, Pleasant Hill. All these towns I definitely would do business in, right? I'll drive, but I'm not going to drive over to San Francisco, so I don't really need a market out there, right? That Bay Bridge is ridiculous at certain hours. So you set that area there, and I see a question here, so I'm going to slow down. Put in a zip code instead of the town name. Yeah, you could put in a zip code instead of a town name. No question about it, especially if you live in a big town. Also, worth noting is, and this may not be true today, but a couple of years ago, if you put in the zip code instead of the town name, Facebook gave you a better pay-per-click rate, okay? So you could do that, right? But here, again, when you put in a zip code, it usually just says they got to live in that zip code. When you're running a property valuation, now that makes sense. But when I'm branding and I'm trying to, when I'm branding and I am trying to let a lot of people know that I'm a realtor, I want to go 10 miles out. And I think you got to do cities to do that, okay? You got to kind of think where you are and where that works. There is demographics, right? And demographics can be powerful. You can actually target homeowners if maybe you're looking for sellers, things like that. You can even do things like net worth and stuff like that. I don't really recommend using that because it's complicated enough to just do it the way that we're doing, but our clients get a lot of success doing it the way that we're doing it. That said, excuse me, I got a lot of clients in Florida, and they like to target, what is it, the Q-tips or the snowbirds or something like that. So you can actually say, I want to target people that live in Chicago who like Florida, and I want them to see this. So you can do that kind of thing here. You can also click exclude, and you can type in realtors and other bad people, right? I'm kidding. Just realtors. And that will block it so that your competitors aren't seeing. I don't know why I'm like, yeah, job title, realtors, right? So that would block it from the other people so that, because when people click on your ads, you're paying for it. So here is an area, remember we're branding and we're looking for buyers. This is what I want you to think of is placements. And I'm going to click on edit. You want all devices. And I'm pointing this out now because in the next call or in the next ad, you don't want all devices. You just want it on desktop. But here, this is going to push it to Facebook and Instagram. And that's cool. And then you want to set a budget. Always change it from daily budget to lifetime budget. What that does for you, it doesn't charge you for life. What it really does, and what you want to know that it does, is it places your money in the highest time of traffic. All right. So sometimes I get the question, when's the best time to run this ad? And honestly, I don't work at Facebook, so I don't have that answer. But Facebook has that answer because they got all these fancy algorithms and stats and stuff, and they know when everybody's logging in. A lot of people have told me, God, between 5 and 7 in the morning on Sundays, I get a huge amount of leads, right? Well, I wouldn't know that, but Facebook knows that. So when I'm running an ad, you see it's saying 350 bucks. I just want to run a small ad. I don't want to spend that much money. I want to spend 20 bucks. And when I say 20, it gives me a little red arrow like, no way. And that's because this ad is starting today and it's ending next month. I don't want this to run for a month. I don't want any of our clients to run an ad for 1 month. So I'm going to run this for 4 days. All right. Ad results typically just diminish after, definitely 7 days. So you got to change it up. That's why you want to run one ad like this a week, right? This is the just listed ad. So every week you want to do, hey, here's an open house. Here's a just listed. Here is just sold, right? So every week for 20 bucks, you're running something. Notice over here, there's an estimated daily reach of 500 people to 2,000 people, okay? That number can change, but we're talking about Lafayette, and so there's not that many people, but I'm only putting a little bit of money, so the reach is smaller. But that's basically about 1,000. So for $20, 4,000 to 5,000 people are going to see that I'm a realtor this week. Okay. So then we click continue. And you want to use, if you're brand new to Facebook advertising, they try to push you into carousel. It doesn't work. Single image ads work really, really well. So I want you to focus on that. Now, for some reason, what am I doing? Why is this? Is this pushing a page? Oh. Okay, display link. That is not showing what I want to see. So I may have to scramble and paste. Let's see what it's going to do there. Oh, that's kind of harebrained. Okay, so I'm getting here because this is really what I wanted to show you. We just did it the wrong way, or I did it the wrong way. You see here that here's my form, and it says email, enter your answer, and full name, enter your answer, and phone number, enter your answer. Here's the thing about Facebook, and this is why I took us down this path. I just did it kind of the wrong way, so the ad doesn't look the right way. Facebook has your name and email and phone number. So when you're looking for buyers, they auto-populate that information right in the form. All the consumer has to do is click submit. So for capturing buyer leads, this is fantastic. This is really huge. So I definitely want you to create this form, and I want you to run this ad properly. It should be, I'm going to go back and start over, and I'm sorry to be confusing because I did something wrong. I'm going to go for traffic. I'm going to say just listed. I'm going to move fast this time, right? JL, Laffy, and May. And you want to kind of know the reason, you want to know, is it what's working? Do people click on open houses? Do they click on just sold? That's why you want to name that. Here I'm going to type in Lafayette again, right? And I'm going to change that radius from 20 to 10 because I'm not going to drive to San Francisco for work. I tell you, I drive over there every once in a while. This traffic is unreal. And then you got a minimum age, right? Especially, you choose your minimum, but to buy a house in the Bay Area, you're going to need some income. Exclude whoever you want. Automatic placement is where they try to push you. In this case, I want to remind you, all devices, when you're branding, you want to brand on mobile, so leave it on all devices. People are on mobile, like I said, 30% of all mobile time is on Facebook. My daily budget, I'm going to change that to lifetime budget. It's still going to be 20 bucks. And I am going to get a little red mark. And I say, okay, well, I'm going to end that in 4 days anyway, so leave me alone. And then that's good. And then I get over here and I make sure I got on my right business page. And then I say single image ad. And here it says, what URL do you want to drive this to? And this is what I typically do. And this pops in a picture of the home in the ad. And then it says up to date, blah, 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 right? This language here is default stuff. I don't recommend it. And you can edit that by going to this box where it says text in the same language. And just put in whatever is awesome about this place, right? You know, because you're the realtor, right? It's in a great neighborhood. It's got, you know, a new granite kitchen, all kinds of cool stuff. So that's, you know, that's how you control that. And I want to point out, this is looking for buyers, right? And when we looked at this page here, which is the blog post, this is for sellers. And I want you to recognize that I said earlier in this call that running the ad is dead simple. It is the language that gets people to click. And if you don't take a moment and get ideas from our other clients, or just use your own, you know, brain there and figure out what's really compelling about this house, is it in an awesome neighborhood, all those kinds of things, well, then you're just not going to get the kind of results you want. And then at this point, you place the order. All right. And placing the order, if you haven't run an ad, Facebook is going to say, hey, we're going to review this and then we'll make it live. And in about, you know, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, they'll make it live. At the end of the ad, when it's over, they send you something that says, congratulations, you had a successful campaign. All successful means to Facebook is that you actually ran an ad and you completed it, right? But they do give you some stats that are important to know. Reach. They'll tell you this reached around 5,000 people. Then it says click-throughs or web clicks. And that's really the important factor. Did they click on it to get off of the ad to the actual page, right? I want to point out that up here it says sponsored by listings to leads. This is going to be sponsored by your business page. And that's why if 5,000 people start to see that, oh, it's you, the realtor, that this is the branding power of it. It's this logo and this picture up this and this, you know, that's the name of your business page. That's what is going on. So you build that brand, and then on the weekends you start doing seller valuation. So let's go look over here. I got some questions. When you are selecting way we get charged, how do we get charged by clicks and not charged by impressions? That's a good question. You do not want to get impressions. I don't know why. It may be defaulting that they're trying to get you to use impressions. Impressions is just an awesome way for you to waste money. So it wouldn't surprise me that Facebook would default you to get impressions. No, I don't know where that is anymore. They used to have it. It might be down here in budget. Yeah, advanced options. Yeah, see right here? Link clicks. That's what we're looking for. That's, you know, I think you're getting an option. I always do it this way, so I don't think I have the option anymore of impressions. But it's probably in here that you make that change. You don't want impressions. What impressions means is this. They see this. And so you'll get more people viewing, but nobody can fill out a form. And so impressions is not really that useful for you. It's just not. Okay, I see another question. When you use FB lead generation, does the lead information get forwarded to LL site? No. Where does it land after they complete it? It lands in your probably Facebook email that you've got that lead. It's not, at that point, it's not connected to listings to leads. However, from a pure lead generation standpoint, when you're looking for buyers, that lead gen form is awesome, and we definitely want our clients to be using it. So I want to now, that's how we brand, right? And you can see over here, I've got just sold. You can change, edit on your listings, and you can change the status of the home to an open house, or you can say, hey, it's just sold or just listed or under contract. And that is how you change it and update it. And then you go into Facebook and you run an ad and say, hey, this home is under contract, but if we're still looking for buyers, et cetera, et cetera. How do you get the lead again after the ad runs? It depends. If you're using, I see questions coming in. Please add them. Keep adding them. Let's see. Impressions get you much better reach, but no inputs. That is correct. So it feels better, but you don't get anything. That's right. You get a lot, because impressions means there is no lead capture. It's just your picture and your brand is getting out. You really want leads. Most of our clients want leads. So let's Juan's questions. When you use the lead capture form, the lead gen form on Facebook, they send you the lead. That's it. If there's a way to integrate what happens in Facebook, I don't know what that is, right? If you're driving for traffic and the lead gets captured on a page like this, right, a single property website, or on our property valuation, well, we email you the lead. And when you're looking for sellers, you definitely want to do that. If no houses are available, where would you send buyers via a Facebook? If you have no houses available, which in my mind means I have no inventory, right? And that is a common thing for realtors across the country. You usually can borrow listings. Usually most MLSs allow you to do that as long as you reference that this listing is courtesy of XYZ agent, right? How do I get the leads again after the ad runs? Got it. Okay. Wise agent Lisa Stanley, you connect that on your profile page. It's close to the bottom, and that's great. So just do that. How your leads go from Facebook lead capture form to Wise Agent is beyond me. I have actually no idea. Here's a question from Kevin. Love what you shared about weekend home valuation and used property valuation. Can you revisit that and discuss that in more depth? I was told on Friday at noon to Sunday is great. Yes, I do agree, Kevin. So we're about to get into seller lead capture, all right? And I've been, I guess, yammering on here because I feel like I've chewed up way too much time. But I'm going to have a sip of coffee and look at this question. We're going to get into that. Do you think there is any reason not specify homeowners in seller lead capture ads? So if they distribute to non-homeowners, how does this make sense? Yeah, that's a good question, Barb. So what this question is, I showed you in demographics that you can actually target homeowners, right? And she's saying, is there any reason not to specify homeowners in the demographic when you're running a seller ad, right? Because you just want sellers to see it. And why wouldn't you target that, right? So here is the reason that I have for not selecting homeowners. I don't know where that data set is, right? I don't know where Facebook is getting that information. And that's number one, right? I mean, I've worked in the information space before I did this with listings to leads. There are a lot of companies selling data sets, right? There's things like Hoovers and there's things like, I don't know, Spokio. All these people have data sets that they're selling to Facebook, and Facebook is collating this. What if, and so I know nothing about where that data set comes from, right? And that's why I'm just not into it. I have some clients that use it, but I'd say 90% of our clients do not use that deeper demographic, and they get awesome results. The other thing to think of is, what if you're married and in this home, let's say I was married and my wife owns this home, right? And I get online and I never see that ad, but we're thinking of selling the home. But it doesn't register me as like related. I just don't have a lot of faith in that. It works for some people. You're welcome to test it. and see what happens to your lead gen. You should always be A/B testing, right? And see what works. I frankly, there are data sets in here of your net worth and this and that. I don't know where they come from. I don't know if they're out of date or whatever. So that's why I don't really dive into deep demographics. So let's get into, we have talked about how to brand, and we had a great question about how to run for seller leads, right? And there's some important things there, so we got to jump into that. And again, there are 15 minutes left in this call, so I'm going to move fast on this piece. Normally I go deep into how to build the right page. The number one page I recommend everybody use is Property Valuation Plus. And if you're brand new to this section, I'm going to go back to this page. You want to type in your farm area. So I'm not going to do it because I've got them already built, but Lafayette, right? That's my new farm area. Click Save. That's all you got to do. Type in the city and click Save. Give it about 30 seconds. It's going to create a landing page under every one of these buttons for Lafayette. All right? Right next door is Walnut Creek. So I want to build my business there too. Save that. It will create a landing page under every one of these landing pages here. You remember I told you that awesome neighborhood, Release Valley? That is like super, everything's like $1 million plus over there. I definitely want to build a business in there. So I'm going to click that too. That's like a nice little subdivision in Lafayette. There are other towns like Alamo and Danville. You do this for every place where you want to build a business. Is you put the name, you spell it correctly, and you capitalize it correctly, people, because it shows up in your tools. And it really looks bad if you don't know how to spell your own towns right. So once you get that, you get over here to Property Valuation Plus, and this is the number one tool I want everybody to be focusing on as you get started with us. Now, I do this a lot, so I got a lot of these. Let's see what Ocala looks like. Oh, look at that. Cool place. Cool. What about Medina? Medina. Oh, okay. So I've been doing this. What I'm trying to get us to is a default page and what it looks like. Fort Wayne, Northern Liberties, Vinny Spring. Let's see. Naples. Oh man, that's a good picture. Okay. Well, the default is a really boring suburban area, and I can't sort of find one for you. But what I want to point out is the right background picture is like makes or breaks this, right? There are two things that really make an ad work. The right background picture and the language. Now, this is the reservoir in Lafayette. It's actually right in the center of our town, or adjacent to downtown. But there's like a 2.5 mile little paved path where people walk their dogs and their kids and their strollers, and the joggers are there and all that nonsense, right? So if you live in Lafayette or even close, this is meaningful to you. And that is important. A lot of realtors feel like, I'm going to put a picture of a big luxury home on the back of this. And you don't want to do that, because that is what makes people, it just doesn't work as well. I'm going to show you one more idea. And Summit Diner, New Jersey. I set up the offices, so I do this call for every office that we set up. And the manager came back, a month later, said, Vince, we're running ads all over the place, and we're getting awesome results, but we just can't believe it that this picture here is the picture that gets the most clicks. And most realtors would not think of this, and that's why I'm pointing it out. I don't know where you guys live, but I do know that when you're on the internet and you're searching around for whatever you're looking for, when somebody pops up a forum like says, fill this out, more times than not, you're just going to walk away, because like everybody else, you don't want to be on that national spam campaign that you have to go and delete someday, right? Same thing here. When you're trying to capture listing leads, people want to feel like at least you know my area. And I've already talked how we're going to brand, right? We're going to be running open house ads and just listed, just sold. But this picture in this small town of New Jersey, which is not even 25,000 people, this old diner, it's on Main Street, right? Everybody knows this. So if I'm looking at this, I know you know my area. And that, I just want to point out to people, is an important thing. So you get your page, you click edit, you click edit, and that's where you upload the picture in the background, and that's kind of it. Once you get your page ready, copy this link, and let's go back to the ad manager. So I got to kind of jump out of here and restart so that we can do this. When you restart, create ads. It doesn't look exactly, I've got a couple things going on that you will not see. One, I have an ad blocker. And so it tells me to get rid of that. And then it says, hey, this was your last campaign. But you should come up. In this case, we're looking for sellers every time. You got to use traffic. Okay? And here, change the campaign name to Value Laffy May, right? And continue. There were some good questions there, and this is a good time to load up your questions. I'm going to move through this, and I want to point out what is different, and then I'll answer those questions. Here, I can type in 94549. Somebody mentioned, in this town, it is everybody that lives in Lafayette has one zip code. So that totally makes sense, because that page only says Lafayette. So I don't want people in Walnut Creek or Alamo looking at it. I only want people that live in Lafayette looking at it. And because I did a zip code instead of typing in a town, Facebook is going to give me a better pay-per-click rate. All right? Homes are pricey, so no 18-year-olds own homes in this neighborhood, I'm pretty sure. This is where the question was about, hey, do you want, what do you call that? Homeowners. And I gave you my answer there. Excuse me. Here's another big difference. I got to point out the difference up here, because I'm kind of jumping around a little bit. I want to make sure people only live in Lafayette to see this. When you do the zip code, it only does that area. Placements, definitely edit placements. And here's where you got to learn, but I want you to start on desktop only. I'm on a desktop as I give this presentation. This page is mobile optimized, but this page, when you go through it, is 3 pages of click here, fill out this form here, blah, blah, blah. And while it works on a phone, we, even though we all have smartphones, don't really feel like going through that process on a phone. But we will definitely go through that process on a computer because it's really easy, right? So when you're starting, start with desktop only. One more thing about this. This is like the other side of the coin. Mobile also includes, what is that? iPads, tablets. And on the weekend, a lot of people are on those things, right? So, if you're watching the game or something, and you're sitting there poking around on your iPad, that happens. So you want to test it out. But I like people to get their base hits first time out, and starting off with desktop is really the way to do it. Many, many clients come in on the Mastermind group and say, oh, I ran an ad, I got nothing. Is it on mobile? Yeah. Well, turn off mobile and do it again, and bang, I get 20 leads, right? And so that's why I'm telling you, that's the way to start. My budget, change it to lifetime budget always. Don't put $350. I like $60, but you may not want to do that. So, $30. This is called pay-per-click, okay? PPC for short. Notice $30, it's saying, no, that's not enough. And that's because this ad is starting today and ending on June. So I want to point out, somebody asked earlier, when you're looking for sellers, start on Friday. End it on Monday. Okay? If you can just do that to get started, if you want to test out beyond that, again, these days, the weekends are the best days to capture sellers. We just see it time and time again. So just to sort of, reiterate, I want you to run a branding ad, at least one every week. And I want you to run a seller home valuation ad every week as well, but on the weekend, okay? So let's continue. And always single image ad. Make sure you got your right business page. Listings to leads. And make sure you're putting the right link in here. Copy here. Paste it in here. When you paste it in here, you'll see it just does this weird thing. It gives you a blue bar. Click the blue bar, and that kind of pushes it in, and then it's going to show you the background picture of the home, and it's going to give you our generic useless language here. Find out your home value now, right? Don't forget, people, that I'm really a fan of you checking out our mastermind group, and I'm even a bigger fan of you looking at our blog. No, I'm a bigger fan of checking out the mastermind group. But on the blog, before you log in, are some great ideas, and I'm going to show you the idea that I like the most because it works all the time. 31 seller leads in 2 days. How? 360 homes sold in Frisco in June. So that's it. So that's the language that I really like, and you should be testing it out. I don't know what the numbers are in your neighborhood, right? But I'm going to say 50 homes sold last month. You know, last month in Lafayette, and then et cetera, et cetera. Whatever it said on that, I'm going to put there, right? And whatever I write here, it's showing up on the box on top of my picture, and that's it. It's going to be branded to me, Vince the Realtor, or you the Realtor. And then you run that ad. And let me kind of finish up on that thing about pay-per-click. Because a lot of, you know, Scott, when he does these calls, he tells you to put $5 a day. And that's because he's just afraid that you're going to get afraid of spending money with us, right? Or spending money at all and thinking we're really expensive. But pay-per-click means every time somebody clicks the ad, it chews off some of your money. Okay, and they have a charge per click, and many times that charge is like 50 to $1, 50 cents to $1, right, for one click. So if you put in $5 a day, you might get a maximum of 5 clicks, right? And that maximum of 5 clicks, it means they clicked and landed on this page, but maybe they didn't feel like filling it out for whatever reason. So that's why, you know, when we first started doing this, we were always saying $60 a day. I'm sorry, $60 for a weekend, which is about $20 a day. And then our clients come back and, gee, I got 100 leads. I had to turn it off, right? I didn't know what to do. I got 100 leads. Well, that's because you put in more money. So you got to manage your budget. I would definitely recommend a minimum of 30 for 3 days, but you know, you got to manage your budget. So that being said, let's just sort of tie that up, and then we'll answer questions. $20 a day, $20 a week for 4 days every week. That's going to be on an open house or just listed or whatever, right? Just sold. When you're running property valuations, that's $30 a week. So we're talking about $50 a week, and that's $450, $200. Remember, I also said that I really think a budget of $300 to $500 a month is really like a sweet spot, and you'll figure out that you'll actually need to turn it down a bit because you'll just be overrun with leads. But what I've just described to you is about a $200 a month budget, right? And boy, if you do that, you're going to feel it. You're going to be happy, and then you're going to start realizing I need to pull my marketing dollars from these other areas where I've been wasting money and feel no real return, and piling it into Facebook. And I look forward to the days when that's happening, because then hopefully you'll be in my mastermind group sharing all the awesome ideas and the results that you're getting. So let's look at the questions, and then we're going to wrap up. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So Kevin, I hope you got your answers there. Barb, we got your answers there. Is there an issue with copyright in certain pictures from Google Images? Milton, great question. If I use zip codes cheaper per click than city, yes, that's true. Since I'm doing city ads, that is easy to do. Should I? Yes, Barb. Yeah, and you can even have multiple zip codes in your ads. Again, you got to test it and see what works. Milton, your question about Google Pictures is a great question, so let's do that. When you're choosing a background picture, and I don't normally, we didn't even get into that but I will point out to you a place to see this. Really, the way to do that is just go to, I'm going to go to, I'm going to type Lafayette, right? I'm in Lafayette. So Lafayette, California. And I'm going to go, okay. And up in Google, you can click images. And this shows you all the images. From here, click tools and click size. And you want to hit this 4MP, larger than 4MP. This means these pictures got to be big enough, excuse me, to fill that whole screen, right? Because this page is going to be as wide as a monitor. So it's got to be big enough. The other thing here is usage rights. And Milton is asking, are these, you know, and this one here says it's labeled for reuse, right? Labeled for non-commercial reuse, yeah. But this is labeled for reuse. And these pictures here, you're not going to have any trouble with. They've actually gone through the effort to say, you know, it's there. Some of them you can also say labeled for reuse with modification. So maybe you change the photo or something like that. But that's kind of how you look at that. I'll give you another kind of tip, not filtered by license. You see when I hover over here, and I don't know if you can see it, it says the Stephen Quanstrom Group. That to me sounds like a realtor. So you know you're going to run into problems with realtors with that. I'll bet you this guy actually saw my call and decided, yeah, that's a great place to run it because this is Lafayette, right? So, but that's what you want to think of. And let's see. So I don't see any other questions, everybody. So I got to point out one more thing. I'm going to take us back to the Mastermind group. And I am going to take us to the tab that says Files. If you don't know our Mastermind group, Files. And here is Vinny's cheat sheet. All right. And in Vinny's cheat sheet, and that's me, down at the bottom is Facebook seller lead gen. And I go more in depth on how to get those Google photos, how to run those ads again, how to customize that page to make it work really well for you, and also ideas. So if you forgot anything here, you can always get into Vinny's cheat sheet in the Mastermind group and watch that video, and that's, you know, sort of helps you out there. I am going to take this video and I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and I'm going to have it in our Mastermind group later today. All right. So I don't see any more questions. So with that, I want to say thanks so much to everybody for joining me. I hope you learned something on it. I got to, you know, repeat myself. This place, Facebook, we are seeing results over and over again, right? A lot of people feel like, thanks, Milton. I hear the question like, oh, I think it's fished out. I think people are they're always, too many people are in there and it's not working. I hear this, you know, and I just got to tell you, go to my Mastermind group but I wish I could show you what I have saved, because Scott posts, I don't know if you can search in this group. Let's go to discussion and see how do you search a group anymore? Scott keeps tagging me in these really like kind of mind-blowing, oh yeah, Amber, right here, right. Let's look at this together. If you got a minute, let's just look at it together. This is the power of our Mastermind group, okay? I mean, I really got to thank our clients so much. May 11th, that's not long ago, right? My Facebook ad, thanks to the help of Barb, who's on this call, and Scott, and the great blog post, I received 10 seller leads so far, right? 10 leads so far. And she's showing this is what it is, right? Shows the ad right here, right? Oh, actually, it's a buyer. It's a buyer lead, right? Everybody is just sort of sharing what's going on. And this is what everybody is doing in our group. So you got to get in this group. Here somebody says 2 leads so far. Wrote the exact same ad, looking for buyers, right? Makes complete sense. Why are we not doing it? 71% of adults are here. I also want to point out in the Mastermind group and Files, somebody was kind enough, Rosita here, to put a full lead PDF. This is what she follows up with, The number one question as soon as you get leads is, what do I send these people, right? Rosita, is awesome as she is, just said, hey, you know what? Here's my follow-up letter. Why don't you guys use it? So guys, get in our mastermind group, participate, share your successes. We're going to do, hey, Evan, thanks for, yeah, here's Evan saying, I got 12 leads during this webinar from doing seller valuation. Awesome, Evan. And he started the account yesterday. That is terrific. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. We have a lot of tools. We are rebuilding the whole website so that it is easier for you to understand and use. Scott and I have been doing this for 8 years, and like, you know, things happen in iterations. We didn't plan it all out on day one. We have been growing with the feedback from our clients, and we continue to grow from the feedback from our clients. So please stay involved and stay on top of us, because I can tell you this with all certainty. If there is anything happening in real estate advertising and lead generation, we are going to be on it. My partner Scott, he's one of those kind of ADD and you know, what are the people that are always worried about the next thing, right? He is on it. And I'm always looking and talking to a lot of people. So if something is relevant in real estate advertising and there's a new platform, we are going to know about it, and we are going to be letting you know. So keep in touch with us. Keep using the tools. Like any tool, like a hammer, you leave a hammer on your desk, what is it going to do? Nothing, right? You use a hammer and pick it up and use it, it's going to do something for you. We got a lot of hammers in this toolkit, so get your arms around them. Thanks everybody for your time. Have a great week. Keep in touch. Get on the mastermind group.